It's Tuesday, August 27. In the headlines, Minister of Finance Dr. Nigel Clarke congratulated on his appointment to the International Monetary Fund. In business news, President of the Small Business Association of Jamaica praises the Bank of Jamaica for its decision to lower interest rates by 25 basis points. Regionally, Grenada is on a mission to rebuild the agricultural sector. And in sports, Minister of Sports, Olivia Grange, shows her support to Jamaica's World Under-20 Championships team. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Some Caribbean leaders are sending congratulatory messages to Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke on his appointment as one of 4 Deputy Managing Directors of the International Monetary Fund. Dr. Clarke is scheduled to take up his new position in Washington, D.C. on October 31. Former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson, in his letter to Dr. Clarke, said, quote, "Jamaica, and indeed the wider Caribbean, are entitled to feel a sense of pride and joy that you have been deservedly chosen to join the illustrious band of our progeny in the highest echelons of leadership within an institution of such seminal importance to the global community." End quote. He furthers, quote, "We confidently anticipate that your tenure will be a strong voice for the developing states in the design of fitting structures that will promote monetary reforms in order to ensure growth and prosperity for every human being, regardless of their origin or where they currently dwell." End quote. Former Prime Minister Bruce Golding has also voiced congratulations, saying Dr. Clarke's appointment is a signal achievement for Jamaica. He's quoted saying, "We should all be proud. However, it is a great loss to Jamaica, given the expertise with which he has carried the portfolio of Minister of Finance and the transformation that he has wrought to the fiscal management of the government." End quote. Mr. Golding urges Jamaicans to not assume that Dr. Clarke will be Jamaica's man at the IMF. He says Dr. Clarke's understanding of the circumstances and challenges of developing countries like Jamaica might, quote, "cause the IMF to pivot from the orthodoxies of the last few decades and embrace the new reality and possibilities of the global economy, not confined to the developed countries." End quote. Former Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Sir George Allain, also congratulated Dr. Clarke, saying, quote, "From my knowledge of international organizations, I am sure the appointment at this level must be a testament to your own technical and managerial skills." End quote. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, in adding his voice to well wishes, described the finance minister's appointment to the IMF as a, quote, "historic and important development in which I take immense pride. The IMF plays an indispensable role in the world economy." End quote. As such, he says, the position of Deputy Managing Director is global in scope. Mr. Holness adds that, quote, "No citizen of Jamaica, the Caribbean, or Central America has ever before served at this level in the IMF in its 80-year history." End quote. Mr. Holness hailed Dr. Clarke's contributions to Jamaica as chairman of the National Housing Trust, Heart Trust, and the Port Authority, and also as senator, ambassador of economic affairs, and Minister of Finance and the Public Service. As Ambassador of Economic Affairs, he maintained the Government of Jamaica's relationship with the IMF and other multilaterals at a critical time, he says, and negotiated key agreements in 2016, including the early termination of the Extended Fund Facility and entry into the Precautionary Standby Agreement. The Ministry of Education and Youth is reporting that students across Jamaica maintained a high level of performance in the May to June 2024 sitting of the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE. Danita Rodney has that story.
The Ministry of Education and Youth is reporting impressive results for Jamaica's May-June 2024 CSEC and CAPE exams. At a press conference on Monday, Education Minister Favour Williams shared the preliminary results for Units 1 and 2 of the CAPE exams.
So I'll start with the public schools. For this year, of the total CAPE subject entries, 43,661, or 95% were sat, with an average pass rate of 90%. Unit 1 had 31,783 subject entries, of which 30,136, or 95%, were sat, with a pass rate of 90% as well. For Unit 2, of those who sat, we saw a pass rate there of 91%.
The Education Minister stated that the 2024 results were not a significant change from the 2023 results.
The CAPE Unit 1 and 2 results for 2024 did not show significant percentage variations from those of 2023. Only a difference of about 0.1% in 2024 when compared to the results in 2023 for Unit 1. And for Unit 2, a difference of 0.8% when compared to the results of 2023. However, we did see improvements in 13 subject areas in Unit 1 and 16 subject areas in Unit 2.
Minister Williams also announced the latest results for the country's CSEC math pass rate.
So for 2024, Jamaica's math pass rate for public schools was 39%, and for all Jamaica, meaning public and private and other, that figure was 33.4%. When compared to the regional pass rate of 36%, Jamaican public school students surpassed this figure by approximately 3 percentage points. But when you look at the All Jamaica, which is public, private, and other, there was a decline of approximately 2.6%.
For the news on PBCJ, I am Danita Rodney.
The World Health Organization has declared that the public health emergency of international concern for Mpox remains in effect. Dr. Rosamond Lewis provides a status update, lessons learned from the response as well.
This is an unprecedented outbreak, as we know. Countries around the world that are reporting Mpox had not previously experienced this at all. Now at this time, where many countries have effectively curbed their outbreak and cases have really come down, there are still some parts of the world where there is continuing risk. This includes the Americas, particularly Central America. It includes countries that are still reporting. We still have over 30 countries that have reported in the last month. So, for example, Spain, a few other countries in Europe, mostly Latin America, Central America, and of course, Africa. In this outbreak, we are still seeing cases linked to travel, but travel from different parts of the world. And so that means that an outbreak can occur anytime through link to travel.
Rosamond, who is at risk of Mpox?
In this global outbreak of Mpox, the group primarily affected have been men who have sex with men. This remains the group that is most at risk for new cases of Mpox. There have been some women and children affected, but they have been relatively few. So it is very important for people who may be at risk, particularly men who have sex with men, to continue to be mindful of how to reduce their risk by reducing the number of sexual partners, for example, and being aware when they're attending events where sexual activity may occur. The other group that continue to be at risk, of course, are people who are affected in the African setting. In West Africa, there is a mix. There is sexual transmission between men and women. And in Central Africa, there continue to be outbreaks where people may be affected through contact with the forest and animal-to-human transmission of the monkeypox virus. We all need to be aware that in the coming spring and summer season in the Northern Hemisphere, of course this is true around the world, there may be activities linked to gatherings and events where risk may be higher, where there may be sex on premises, where there may be sexual contact with multiple partners. These are the situations where there may be greater risk of Mpox, even as the outbreak is slowing down worldwide.
Rosamond, what is new and what have we learned so far from the response?
In this outbreak, we've learned a lot about Mpox, the disease, and monkeypox virus as well. We've learned that the strain of virus that is driving the outbreak is not new, but it has adapted to person-to-person transmission. This particular strain of the virus has not been found in animals. And so it's really critically important that we continue public health measures to protect people and prevent further transmission of this disease. We have learned, for example, that people who have advanced or untreated HIV infection are much higher risk for severe illness or death. It is important for you to know your HIV status in order to be able to get appropriate treatment, testing, and care.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, your guide through the latest happenings in the world of business. Garnet Reed, president of the Small Business Association of Jamaica, sends his heartfelt congratulations to Richard Biles, governor of the Bank of Jamaica, for the central bank's recent decision to lower interest rates by 25 basis points. For members of the SBAJ and the wider 422,000 strong Jamaicans who own small businesses, we are depending on Mr. Biles to stand with us and continue to advocate for lowering interest rates, President Reed stated. That said, the SBAJ president continued, we must express our concern to Mrs. Audrey Tugwell Henry, the president of the Jamaica Bankers Association. This concern is shared by the SBAJ executive team that bankers usually act quickly to raise interest rates, but take in excess of 90 days to lower these rates. Two companies have released their financial results to the stock exchange. Stationery and Office Supplies Limited unaudited financials for the 6 months ending June 30, 2024 reports a 31% decrease in 6 months net profit. MFS Capital Partners Limited for the year ending June 30, 2024 reports a year-end net loss attributable to shareholders of 42.17 million Jamaican dollars. During trading for the period of August 24, 2024, the following companies represent the top 3 most active stocks that investors bought and sold on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Media conglomerate Radio Jamaica Limited with 10,510,500 units represent 43.0% of the market value in terms of sales. Online learning platform Edufocal Limited with 1,822,275 units represent 7.46% of the market value in terms of sales. Office furniture and supply firm Stationery and Office Supplies Limited with 1,131,581 units represent 4.63% of the market value in terms of sales. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies on the stock market, we turn to the Forex market. On August 26, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported that US 62.42 million was bought from Forex traders, while US 55.19 million was sold to Forex traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollar for $158.49 and bought the US dollar for $156.46. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $2.03, which represents a profit for Forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian Forex traders earned a trading profit of $1.71 from transactions at the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold at $117.85 and bought for $116.14. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $3.80, selling it for $207.68 and buying it for $203.88. For the credit report tip of the day, we continue to look at rebuilding your credit after the age of 50. Although it might seem difficult, it's never too late to take control and improve your financial health. So if you have assets and freelance income, you are in a strong position to rebuild and boost your credit score. So we have a strategy for you. Negotiate with your creditors. If you're struggling to make payments, don't hesitate to negotiate with your creditors. You may be able to arrange a more manageable payment plan or settle debts for less than you owe. And with that, we wrap up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Appreciate your company. Stay well informed, stay ahead of the curve. Until our next update, take care.
In regional news, we start with news from Antigua and Barbuda. Teachers, counselors, and students have started training under the Conflict Resolution Program launched in schools this March. The initiative, led by the High Court's Mediation Committee, aims to address and reduce violence in schools. Kim Emmanuel Beard has the details.
Under the theme, Stop, Listen, Relate, Communicate, the Mediator Supervisory Committee of the Eastern Caribbean Court of Justice launched a conflict resolution program in schools in March of this year. The objective is to form a peer mediation pilot program among youth. As Mediation Committee member, Sharissa Roberts Thomas explains.
School counselors will be trained as peer mediation trainers and representatives from the T.N. Kernan School and the Otters Comprehensive School as peer mediators in order to introduce this concept into our schools island-wide, starting with the court's immediate neighbors.
Before delivering the opening prayer, the Reverend Angela Roberts reminded attendees every child needs love. She said regardless of their actions, love, prayer, and God's leadership should be used in handling matters involving children. She says after working with the youth for over 35 years and running a home for at-risk girls, she has noticed these youth are sometimes misunderstood.
And I saw their pain. I saw how easy it was for counselors and welfare not to actually understand or believe their stories because we just figure that they've gone astray. And so as we come and we open with prayer.
Chairperson of the Mediation Supervisory Committee, Justice Nicole Bayer, delivered her address via Zoom, explaining the training is being sponsored and facilitated by the University of the West Indies, Five Islands campus. She said this program is vital, considering the country's current situation with youth violence, and wishes the participants well.
And I believe we all know that our society is in a state of crisis, and this training could not have been even more timely than it is. I therefore wish to thank Ms. Diaz for being our facilitator in this venture and wish all the participants a successful, productive, I believe it's going to be also intensive, week, which can only inure to the benefit of the society.
Justice Beyer thanked the principal of the UWI Five Islands campus, Professor Justin Robinson, for so keenly partnering with this program. For ABS News, this is Kim Emmanuel Baird.
Grenada's Ministry of Agriculture is on a mission to rebuild the agricultural sector, which suffered huge losses after the passage of Hurricane Beryl.
In response to the widespread destruction of farmlands caused by Hurricane Beryl, the ministry has launched a large-scale replanting initiative to revitalize the agricultural sector. Agricultural Officer Nigel Gibbs views the aftermath of Beryl as an opportunity to replant with greater resilience.
This has been an event that affected and really is a disaster level event, but it gives us an opportunity to literally start from scratch, as they say, and do it properly. So we must replant with agro-industry in mind, what we could process. Things like the nutmeg seeds, the soursop seeds, these traditional crops. The cocoa is a bit more of a resilient crop, so even where you had trees falling over and leaning, they can be righted. But this is an opportunity now for us to replant our cocoa estates in its entirety, our cocoa plantation. Our trees are too old. The soursop industry took a big hit. We need seeds. We lost a lot of young fruits, so there will be a void in harvesting and production for a little while. But we have the capacity to start propagating.
The Ministry of Agriculture operates 4 propagation stations. Gibbs said they are collaborating with farmers to collect seeds and propagation materials.
So the drive is on now to collect seedlings, seeds from the farmers who are existing in these clusters, mainly in the northeastern corridor of the island. We already have pledges from some of these farmers, and we're looking forward to doing our own collections and our government control compounds and estates, and hopefully we're safely looking from the committee and from the evaluation that was done to probably target anywhere between 20 to 25,000 plantlets, say over the next 3 to 4 months. Of course, it may spill over into the dry season, but that is a target based on needs that we have estimated and of course evaluated from doing our recovery efforts.
Work has already commenced on revitalizing government estates, and the ministry continues to support farmers by providing chainsaw services for land clearing, drainage, alignment, and pre-planting efforts.
In Belize, community health workers play a vital role in delivering basic health and medical care within their communities. And with growing populations, their importance continues to rise. To enhance their skills and ensure they receive the support they need, the Ministry of Health, along with its partners, has launched an updated Community Health Workers Manual and Job Aid Tool. On Monday, News 5's Brittany Gordon attended the ceremony and has more on this development.
For many people living in remote areas of the country, accessing immediate health care can be a challenge, particularly for the elderly or those living with disabilities. Often, community healthcare workers are the first point of contact in receiving medical attention. This year, Belize is strengthening resources and support for these workers with the launch of the revised Community Healthcare Worker Manual. Technical advisor for the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Kathleen Asweta Cho, explained that the last update to the manual came in 2013, and considering the country's growing reliance on these workers, the need for additional support was crucial.
This new manual that we are launching today is a comprehensive document that encompasses the different topics that are cross-cutting across the Ministry of Health and Wellness. It includes topics ranging from maternal child health, mental health, which was deficient in the first manual. We have environmental health, we have nutrition, and it really is a document that was developed with the feedback from the different partners and the community health workers themselves. Initially, we started with a review and a desk analysis of what is existing and what is deficient.
The community health workers will also be receiving a job aid tool and an increased monthly stipend of $500. The job aid tool is a portable flip book that workers can reference while out in the field for additional information. Minister of Health and Wellness Kevin Bernard says that further resources are in the works.
Our steps include expanding partnerships with the international financial institutions to optimize the CHW program. We aim to equip our community health workers with digital tools like tablets to transform and streamline their work, enhance communication, and improve the quality of care they provide. We will also develop an operational monitoring and evaluation plan for community health programs. This will ensure that our healthcare services are effective, efficient, and responsive to community needs.
In sports, we begin trackside with athletics as Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports, Olivia Grange, has extended her best wishes to Jamaica's delegation as they prepare for the World Athletics Under-20 Championships, which begin on Tuesday in Peru. In her message, Minister Grange encouraged the young athletes to, quote, enjoy the experience of representing Jamaica on the world stage, while emphasizing that the country is, quote, already very proud, end quote, of their achievement in qualifying for the championships. Over now to cricket. The Antigua and Barbuda Falcons are fine-tuning their preparations for the Republic Bank of Caribbean Premier League starting in Antigua on Thursday. Jack Matthew reports.
As part of the groundwork, a practice match was staged on Monday at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds, and Kofi James was a star performer. James, who says he's super confident, hit a half-century in the build-up to Thursday's opening. The Leeward's Hurricanes and Falcons all-rounder says he's putting a lot of focus on being mentally ready as well.
It is for me to get comfortable, know my strengths, my weaknesses, mentally prepare, and off the field stuff that can creep into cricket. I just want to set them right and make sure I go into it a clear mental space so I can execute my skills.
The 26-year-old James is delighted to be part of a new franchise with established international players whose expertise he can benefit from to enhance his game.
There's so many information and knowledge you can get from these guys. I mean, Sam Billings, I've met him for like one day, and the amount of stuff he already shared with me. And we have like a few weeks together, so just imagine the amount of knowledge and skills you can learn from these guys.
One of the other renowned players in the Falcons lineup is off-spinning all-rounder Chris Green. The Australian, a CPL participant for 6 years, is anxious to be part of the excitement and drama.
I love playing in the CPL. I think it's one of the great tournaments around the world. To go to all the different islands, experience the different passions for cricket in all the different countries is a great experience for anyone coming in, and I've loved my time in the CPL, and like I said, I think we've got a great team, so for me it's just about bringing my best efforts with bat, ball and in the field and putting in good performances, and hopefully we can be there for the finals.
Green believes the Falcons have the personnel and ability to soar to championship honours.
A few of us have won the CPL before, so it's just about connecting and enjoying ourselves and putting on a show for all the fans around the Caribbean, but particularly here in Antigua.
The quest for the trophy will bowl off on Thursday here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. The Falcons will take flight against the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time. Jack Matthew, ABS Sports.
And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.